Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am really sorry for taking this long to post again, but I've been caught up with a few things. So for today, we're gonna discuss paper 2, variant 1, May-June 2024. Okay, so this paper is an hour and a half long, and you are to be given an insert booklet here. Which contains the case study for this paper. So the case study is for you to answer all 4 questions, unlike your previous paper, which contains more than one case study. Okay, so I advise you before starting to watch this video to have already read the case study and to have it by your side while you're answering the paper. Okay, let's look at the first question, part A. So you are to explain 2 drawbacks or disadvantages for EP of having a tall organizational structure. Now, for you to answer this question, you need to be familiar of what an organizational structure is. It's basically how the business employees are arranged in order of, let's say, hierarchy. Okay, or it also shows their jobs and like who is assigned to do what and who is assigned under what manager and stuff like that. So a tall organizational structure, it should look like something like this. Okay, all right, so it goes long way. All right, okay, so and the list still goes, and usually this structure is used for like big businesses. Okay, so the first disadvantage or drawback here is the slower communication. Okay, this is obvious because the message that they're gonna convey is gonna go through a lot of levels, and therefore it will take a long time for the message to reach the person intended. Okay, so and for you to organize this explanation is as there's a long chain of command. Okay, chain of command is the levels. It will take longer for messages, so therefore it will take longer for messages about the production of pottery. Okay, now this is an application here to pass from senior managers to the lower level employees. Now you don't have to do this answer exactly the same, but it's just that you have to include the fact that it will take long, and then you have to add an application and maybe consider adding more explanation on the lower level employees. Okay, so the total mark for this question is 8, so therefore you'll get 1 mark here and then 3 for the explanation. Okay, so the next drawback is having smaller span of control. Now, not many of you might think of this as a drawback, but it actually is in some cases. So why? So as this will reduce opportunities for job delegation, and we know that job delegation is one of the motivators for employees. So therefore, since there will be no job delegation or reduced opportunities for job delegation, this will demotivate the employees and make them feel less trusted, and in turn this would affect increasing efficiency. Okay, now here increasing efficiency is the application for our answer. Okay, so like the previous one, this is a mark and this is 3 marks. All right, so there are more answers in the mark scheme. You can go check that out. What is it? Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, you have like a slow decision making, which is actually quite similar to the slow communication. So you can also add things like misunderstandings could happen, or you can say maybe senior managers are far, like in the hierarchy, they're far from the lower level employees, so they might feel demotivated since they're not gonna like interact with them and stuff like that. And you can there's many more answers, but these are just a few. Okay, and also remember to please add your applications in order for you to get the full marks for each question. Okay, next, part B. Okay, so here you have to consider the two ways EP could use to increase added value. Okay, we have seen in the case study that EP is a pottery business, okay, and it has been stated that they're gonna choose which way they're gonna use to increase the added value, which is the first way is to increase their prices, the second is to reduce their raw material costs. So when explaining about each one, try to uh, let's say link it as much as possible to the case study, and by that it means you have to apply. Okay, so for increasing the prices, we have seen that EP already uses higher quality products, okay, or higher quality materials, so they could actually improve that even more, and which will allow them to increase their prices, and uh, it will also make the customers still willing to pay for a higher price product because they trust EP. Also, they can improve their brand image by advertising the pottery, which makes the product more well known. Okay, and hence, because their product becomes more well known, it will have the prices increase, and it will be possible as customers usually prefer buying well-known branded products. Okay, so now we're done with the answer. You have applications, which is the high cost, high quality. This is an application. You have pottery, another application, and of course you have your two main points. Okay, now you have to justify. Okay, so what you're gonna see is there's many other things, but I just went along with the points that I've mentioned earlier. Okay, so however, this will depend on what the competitors charge for their products, therefore EP may lose sales. Okay, so there's other justifications. For example, higher prices sometimes, sometimes it may lead to lower demand, so possibly reducing revenue is another justification. Also, maybe the customer's income is not as high. You can also mention that. But overall, I believe that it's pretty much similar. So maybe you can add this one. Okay, let's look at the second one. Okay, the second way is to reduce raw material costs. Okay. All right. So, okay, this is a possible way. All right, but as you can see here, I am actually gonna choose the first way, because why? Because EP already uses high quality materials. Okay, they can do the opposite and purchase cheaper ones. They can buy in bulk or get a cheaper price and sourcing materials from imports instead of domestic ones. You can say that. However, the quality of the pottery products, of course, will be lower, and it could affect the customers and make them unhappy, making EP have a bad reputation, thus lowering sales. Okay, so this is obvious, all right? Usually when choosing, like for the recommendation, when choosing a way, there's no wrong or right answer, but mostly for this question, I believe that it's safer to choose the first one, as you have more main ideas to talk about, and you can link it more to your case study. Okay, so therefore you'll have more applications, and also it just makes sense. I mean, why would you play at with your reputation when you're already making high quality products? So yeah. All right, for the recommendation, you can make it like a summary maybe, but this is how you can write it. So you can say, I believe, or I think that increasing the price is better. Sorry, I forget. Is better in order to increase added value. I forgot to add increasing the prices. All right, as EP already has a reputation. Okay, so I'm justifying my answer for here, and also this one makes sense. Okay, for selling high quality pottery product, an application here. So customers are likely to be willing, didn't have space here, but this is willing to pay higher prices. So this will be much safer, of course, than potentially getting a bad reputation for poor quality products, which may happen if lower quality raw materials are purchased. Okay, so we got 2 points, and then we have an application, and we also have one more point here. So 4 marks. All right, and same goes for the other 2 as well. All right, next is question number 2. Explain 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of using external recruitment to find EP's new manager. Okay, we can see in the case study, you can see the organizational chart for EP. All right, so please refer to that when answering this question. You'll see your managing director at the top, and then the marketing, operations, and finance, and the list goes down. And you can also see it's a tall organizational structure. So again, we need to find 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of using external recruitment to find EP's new manager. So this is a very easy question, just like our part A for question 1. You can find this in your textbook. You just have to memorize these, I guess, but it's mostly common sense. Okay, so first advantage is that, of course, you will have new ideas to the business. Okay, which will give more competitive advantages. Okay, with other pottery manufacturers. Okay, another one, which is another obvious one. Okay, as you can see, because they want a new marketing director, sorry, not director, a new manager. Okay, so under that manager, there's the 7 employees. Okay, all right, so if we will recruit internally, it only makes sense that the assistant manager is gonna take the spot. So the other 7 employees will be jealous, but since the assistant is not gonna take it, meaning nobody is jealous. So this eliminates rivalry between new manager and the existing employees, as there will be no jealousy among the 7 marketing employees who did not get the promotion. Okay, now let's look at the disadvantages. There's a lot of them. Okay, like it is being expensive. Sometimes the new recruit is not they don't have the required skills. Sometimes maybe they're not loyal, they will not stay for a long time. So you can state some things like that. So the first one I chose is that recruitment process could take longer, since advertisements are needed, which could take longer to respond to applicants for the job of the marketing manager. Okay, all right, this one another point. Okay, then the other disadvantage is that the new applicant is unknown. Okay, like I stated before, they may not have the right skills or expertise for understanding the production process of the products, such as the cups and bowls. Okay, now here this is an application. Okay, marketing manager, I believe it's also an application. Let me go check. Yep, this is an application. Okay, and this is of course an application here. Pottery here. Yep, this is good. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, it's obvious it will go like 2 marks for each, so 1 for the point and 1 for application. 2 and then 2. Okay, I hope this is helpful, and I think this one is easy. I think you guys should be able to do this by yourself. Okay, let's go to the second part of the question, part B. Okay, Again, another long 12-mark question. Okay, this one is pretty, I would say, even. Okay, also each one will be 3 marks for now. It's different from the previous one, so 3 for each. Okay, 3 for each. Okay, again, when you're comparing, you need to use logic most of the time. Like, there's nothing for you to memorize here, because I've seen many students do that, and it's not that it's not helpful, it's just that it's tiring. I would say it's too much extra work. It's better to use common sense here. But yes, let's look at them. So this part says, consider the following 3 ways EP could use to increase the sales of its products. Which would be the best way for EP to use? Okay, we have your good old social media, you have emails, and then of course setting up a website. Okay, please focus here. Many people tend to ignore this or sometimes overlook it, is the fact that it's just to existing customers. When you're sending an email, you need to have the address, okay? So obviously you wouldn't know the address of like potential like new customers, because unless you did it by accident, but usually it's only to your existing customers. So this way here is quite limited, just remember this. Okay, but again, when choosing, there's no right or wrong answer. You'll always get full marks if you just answered fulfilling what the mark scheme is asking you to do, basically. But there's no wrong. Like, if you picked this one, it's not wrong, but it's better to go with the easier options. Okay, so let's look at advertising using social media. This can help, of course. Okay, let's just list a few advantages for this one. Okay, first of all, it's very easy to go through. Everybody has social media. People do not have to search for your product. Okay, you can make an ad that is sponsored, I believe, and your business might pop up in Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, without the customer actually searching for it. So meaning it will come up to customers that are existing and are not as well. So there's a higher chance for awareness and information sharing. Okay, now let's organize these. Okay, we will also be adding applications, so this can help target also specific group of people or demographic group of people, such as higher income earners. Okay, now like I said, it can also attract more customers in another way, but social media can be used to detail and also to make it as a wide awareness. Okay, you can control social media sometimes if you hire the right people. Okay, so here I mentioned that you can send it to a specific group of people, and also you can attract new customers through adverts. For the shop to look for EP Spottery, this is an application. When going on sites such as Facebook, like I said earlier, which of course increases awareness. Okay, now this is done. Okay, now let's look at the justification. Okay, however, not all potential customers may use social media. Okay, this is the only, probably I think the only downside I can think of, but there's more. Is that not many can use social media and therefore will not become aware of EP's products. Okay, let me check what others that you can add. Okay. Okay, they can be expensive. The ads to, the sponsored ad can be expensive for EP to pay for those, pop-up ads to ensure that their pottery is seen by a large group of people. And then the one I mentioned, and then you can also add that it's easier to leave bad reviews and can lead to fewer purchase. Okay, social media is usually free, so customers might, add their reviews there, and you may get a bad reputation, I believe. But this is not common. Like, this is like, if I was in the exam taking it, I will never think of this, but it's just one of the disadvantages of using social media. Okay, next, emailing. Okay, this one that I mentioned earlier, emailing special offers to existing customers. Okay, of course, we have this is a cheaper way. Okay, let me list the advantages. Oh, it's a direct way to send to customers. What else? I think that's all I can think of, but let's see what I wrote here. Okay, this is of course a cheaper way, like I've said earlier, to get information to a lot of existing pottery customers. This is an application. Okay, let me make this more clear. Additionally, another point, it can directly get to existing customers who are likely to purchase EP's higher quality products. Okay, this one is similar to targeting a specific group of people. Like I said here, the previous one, higher income. You can mention this. Now this is, you don't have to add this. Like with the application, you can already get 2 marks here, but I just added it to show you how I would include it if I were to write it, okay? So with this point here and the application, you already got 2 marks. And then there will be a mark for justification, which makes it 3. Okay, so this is an additional one. Also here as well. Let me go see. And here. Okay, this one is also an additional one. Okay, either one of them can be, but these two are different, separate points. Okay, for the justification. However, emails can easily go into spam. Okay, this is very obvious. And sometimes they may get ignored. Also, they only target existing customers. Please do mention that. They do not target new customers, so you will not gain awareness. And here is our goal here to increase the sales. You may or may not increase it using emails, but not as much as when attracting new customers plus your original old customers. So that's a plus for social media here. Okay, last one, setting up a website. Okay. First of all, I think there's a lot to say here. I think a website gives a good impression of the business. Okay, this is one. It makes the information more detailed or presents the information better. It helps you control also like how you present the information of your product. Also, you can update the price quickly, unlike your social media ads. Sometimes when an ad is posted, it's hard to edit on it, I guess. You can include more interactive videos and photos. And then, of course, you can use online ordering system or e-shopping. Like of course, like we've seen in Amazon and Alibaba and all those kind of shops. Okay, so how am I gonna organize these ideas? As I wrote, when setting up a website, EP can have a complete control of the way it displays its pottery in the adverts. Okay, this is one. And of course, this is an application. Furthermore, this is another point. EP can use the website for online ordering, which makes it more accessible for customers living further away from the retailers. Another point. Okay. Alright, for justification, however, setting up a website can add up costs of paying professionals to do so and for keeping it going, okay? Other disadvantages is that when you're doing online ordering or online shopping, or sorry, online selling, of course you will have the added cost of packaging. In not just the packaging of the product itself, but also the postage packaging. Also, again, the ongoing cost of maintenance, which I actually mentioned here. You can also say the search engines may not bring up EP's products sometimes. You can say it also relies on the people's way of finding the product, like they have to search for it basically. Okay, so it's not like the pop-ups on social media. Alright, so for me, overall, I chose social media because it is ultimately the best way to choose as an advert for EP's business, since it is more likely to be seen. Of course, this is a plus than on a website that has to be searched for. Okay, and for while social media will appear instantly. Okay, so here you already have like 2 points. Okay, wait, hold on. It's more likely to than website. Okay, 2 points. Okay, the third point, also viral marketing, which can be done by social media, means people using social media can quickly spread the information than the website and emails to existing customers. Okay, the fact that the information is spread quickly is another point. Okay, and this is how you would answer this question. Okay, if you were to choose setting up a website or email, you can say that maybe okay, let's talk about email. When using email, you can say that it is the best way, as an email is less likely to be ignored and targets people who are already existing customers, and therefore they may likely to read the email. Okay, and purchase additional products to match their existing pottery plates, for example. You can say that. And then for the website, I guess you can also talk about the fact that the information is detailed again, and that you can put interactive sections in your website that may be attractive to potential customers, and of course ultimately increasing sales. I actually forgot to mention that. Please do. The fact that it's increase sales. All right, so this is it for this part. This is part 1 of the paper. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be part 2, and I'll be sharing question 3 and 4. Thank you.